Okay, I am back. So, if you want to go down that way, you can take this and ride all the way down. That's not my intention. There's a prison cell here. Opening to the prison cell there. That's not my intention right now, either. My intention right now is to lower this so we don't need to use the submarine anymore. Okay, I'm going to go to the nearest dome. I'm not going to use it, but I'm going to test the access code to see if I got the numbers right. So, press this to open. Okay. Then it's a matter of a elevator ride up. And this one's already open. So, just come on in and give this a try. Okay, first one, 19. Or the last one, 19. Next one, 16. Then 14. 12 and 7. This is going to be a randomly generated number that you're going to get. It's going to be randomly generated each time you start a new playthrough. So unless you save your game, it's going to be different every single time. Got it. And we do not want to go in there. Go into this book right now. Instead, if we go into this book now, we get one of the bad endings. As we don't want a bad ending, which I should actually save it sometime soon here to prevent any bad endings. Sorry. And, yeah, let's go ahead and save it right here. Yeah, go ahead and save it in the same file. And go ahead back to that ladder. I'm going to go into that prison cell now. this way, up there, up this stairway, press this button, or twist that knob thingy. This is actually what you reach into to open. Let's try to look around the cell as it is. Nope, this is it. So you pull that, and an opening forms in the back wall. And the door closes behind us. That's how it's done. You pull that to open that up again. And it gets really dark. You click that, turns that light on, and I think it turns these other lights on too. Or no, I have to click to turn these on. I don't think there's any others. This right here is what you need to get into the next area, and this is where the next part comes. You remember in the first episode all of those balls with the various animals and those numbers? Let's see, number 1 is a fish. Number 2 is a beetle. Number 3 is a frog. Number 4 is the plateosaur creature. Number 5 is the whale creature. Okay. Let's start with fish. It could be that one, but let me make sure. Yep, I'm pretty sure it's going to be this one. 1, 2, the beetle. 3, plateosaur. 'The filter mouth plateosaur creature. Oh, wait, I did that wrong. I did that wrong. 3 is the frog. Could be that one, but I think it's not that one. This one. 4 is the filter mouth plateosaur creature. And 5 is the tusked whale creature. looks like the rebels have better knowledge of how the water works than even Gen does. Okay, and here's one of those crystal thingies. Now, the order of those animal switches should be the same, no matter what save file you use. So there are two more keys that need to be deciphered, or discovered and deciphered. And this is where the cover of the game comes from. This is not Riven. Riven is the world that we were in, but we actually get to enter a different age. There's a flying creature there. It's water and so on. If you turn around here, like there's an exit way there. They put you to sleep. We'll wake up inside a cell. Unfortunately, we don't get to explore this age. I kind of wish there was a way of exploring it. You can look out. I think that's the entryway there. We're inside that big spherical structure. And this is inside that spherical structure. I think we're lying down here, is it? Now's actually a decent time to read this journal. Let me do a quick flip through, see how long this is. It's not that bad. Should be able to do it fairly quickly. I held for more than 30 years, but the corrections I made to Riven have finally failed. The island has resumed the familiar pattern of decay that is a hallmark of my father's work. I must now race to implement this new patch before it's too late. I only hope that my revised theories are sound. The revisions to Riven completed. There are still a number of minor adjustments which need to be made, but the basic corrections have been entered and should be working. Something's not right. I've been monitoring the instruments for several hours now, but have thus far observed no change. It's possible that I've made an error. Though I've checked my entry against my prenotation and can find no discrepancy, I have not had a rest in nearly 3 days, so it may be that I'm just not seeing it. If the fault is with my foundational assumptions, however, perhaps after a short rest I will see something. Success! It appears that my repairs have been effective after all. The gateway image has become noticeably clearer, and although it is impossible to know with absolute certainty, the island seems to have quieted itself. Just a few more weeks of work, I should be free at last to go there myself and attempt to bring Catherine back. The past 8 months have left me little time to think, to devise a strategy for getting her out of there. I've received no sign from her in all that time. I'm afraid that... No, I must assume that she is all right, lest my fears undermine my effort to bring her back. I did not create the Age of Riven. Unlike my father, I have never presumed to have such power, and yet the future of all those who live there has fallen into my hands. So far I've managed to read the page before it turns. The island continues to appear stable. I would like to believe that I have saved a dying world, but the theories of one individual cannot support the lives of real people indefinitely. I must get everyone off of Riven as soon as possible. The problem now is Gen. I'll never be able to rescue Catherine and relocate the islanders if he is still the man he once was. I haven't seen him in over 30 years. But his history forces me to assume that he is still a threat. His myopic mission to restore the Dunny civilization has left too many innocent cultures dying in its wake, and would continue to do so were he once again to be free of the confines of Riven. For the 5th Age, as he coldly titled it. The universe has been safe from his corruptive influence for at least 33 years, because no one has been able to leave that age. The last linking book out of Riven has been lost to the starry fissure upon my return to Myst. That was my intention, to maroon my father on Riven by removing all the existing links to other worlds. And once the art of reconstructing the books has long been lost, and since the art of constructing books has long been lost with the fall of Dunny, he would be trapped there for the remainder of his lifetime, and effectively segregated from the countless other worlds that he would have invaded. In effect, that is what we achieved. But the way it fell, however, was no one's ideal. Though the sting of the incident has gradually faded from my memory, the deep pain of the responsibility for what actually came to be has never left me. At the time, it all seemed so clear. Gen's destructive path could not be allowed to continue. But it has never been my choice that the innocent inhabitants of Riven, who had already suffered so much, would be the ones to pay for it. Enough. To dwell in the past is to die in the present. The situation is not the same as it was then. The knowledge I've acquired in the years since that time has yet to be applied to this problem. I think I have the solution. Why it did not occur to me sooner, I do not know. unless the idea of it had been pushed out with the thought of my sons. A prison book. Many years ago, during a hunting expedition through the ruins of Denny, I chanced upon a formula for a most unusual type of book. Unfortunately, due to the fact that my father was then in the habit of confiscating my discoveries, I was forced to leave it behind years later. However, as part of my efforts to protect the vulnerable worlds linked to the books in my library, I was pleased to find that I could still recall most of the formula, and with little experimentation quickly succeeded in creating one of these devices myself. The procedure is actually quite simple. By altering the key lines of the text but slightly, a normal linking book's connection can be partially severed, such that anyone who attempts to use the book will be permanently trapped in the dark void of the link. That is, unless someone else then uses the book, at which point that person would become trapped, and the first person displaced back in the world. The technique can be applied to books that have already been written, changes to the original text being so slight that anyone who is unfamiliar with the code will be unable to detect them. If indeed my father has not changed, what better bait could there be than a book that appeared to be a link back to Dunny? Trouble. My nightly analysis of the island's conditions has revealed that the tremors have begun again. The pattern, however, is new. The disturbances are the result of the changes I have made. This did not at first concern me. However, tremors of this type were one of the possible side effects I had anticipated during the initial phase of the island's readjustment. Still, in order to verify my assumptions, I decided to calculate again. Incorporating the new data, the results were not what I expected. The damage of the understructure is more extensive than I realized. I can no longer go to Riven as planned. Catherine, forgive me. I must act while I still have the time. The signs are freely visible, but there's no question that the island's deterioration is accelerating. The total collapse is imminent, unless I can keep ahead, and that is becoming increasingly difficult to do. With every passing moment, I gain a clearer picture of the incredible chaos that my father's economy of words has yielded. But it is a dismaying process. The complexity of the problem is overwhelming. There's no end to this. The last few days have all but convinced me that the collapse of Riven is inevitable, that at best I can only strive to delay it now, and hope that at some point the island will become stable enough to risk a rescue attempt. I think I've come up with a way to solve the tremors, to subdue the tremors. It will require my exclusive attention for at least a month or two, but it may be necessary to discontinue these journal entries for a while. Let's see, this is just a few days later. Something truly miraculous has happened. Beyond all conceivable probability, someone has finally found my lost Myst linking book, and has freed me from this prison. I immediately realized that this could be the solution to my dilemma, and I believe my mysterious benefactor is willing to assist me. I'm still not sure it can work. The logistics of such a scheme are formidable, but the mere fact that it may now be possible for me to continue my repairs to Riven, and yet proceed with my original intent to find Catherine, has given me renewed hope. The last few days have left me little time to work on the remaining problems with sending someone else to Riven. It did occur to me, however, that if a way could be found to signal me once Gen had been captured, it would be no longer necessary to take a real linking book to Riven and risk the possibility of inadvertently releasing Gen. The deteriorating state of the gateway images makes the use of a visual signal impossible, but the picture remains a relative indicator of Riven's condition nonetheless. By measuring and interpreting the variations of the noise patterns, I am still able to observe basic changes that occur in the age. Even though I cannot see them, the problem is that my instruments can only detect changes that occur on a fundamental level, and it seems unlikely that an individual could affect such an elementary change from within an age. The idea may be foolish. Still, there's a known weakness that may be worth investigating, an anomaly that appears as a rift between the two separate systems, the starry fissure. But how, or even if, this fact could be exploited, I cannot say. Sending someone to Riven also means that once I received the signal that they were ready to return, I would have to leave my writing in order to take a real linking book there myself. However, provided my father was safely out of the way, this would take very little time. After that, assuming the island does not incur much damage in my absence, it would then be a relatively simple matter to hold it together long enough for Catherine to return to Riven and evacuate the remaining islanders. Predetermining a signal without knowing the topography of the island may prove to be impossible, but I'm afraid there can only be one answer to the question of whether or not I should send my friend to Riven with a way out. The potential for failure will be greatly diminished if the prison book is all that is taken there. I'm sure my father is expecting me to bring a linking book to Riven. May he not be disappointed. Okay. It looks like this initiated more story.
Katerina e nao da saya e palo. Yapa e manai e lepo. Eu te sai. Bekaretere wira pe yelo ke ne falapo. Te sai. Wai te fulupe.
Okay. This gives us the trap book back and a note. I linked to Riven a week ago. The smell of the place overwhelmed me moments before I could see anything. With my sight only partially cleared, something motionless peering ahead through the dim veil, which was slowly lifting. There was a moments, and has appeared. I remember breathing abruptly and very deeply, tasting the familiar Riven air, but was not recognizing a thing. I must have been hit with a dart right away. I thought it was an insect. I thought it was an insect bite at first. I'm trying to remember it all, but it's difficult, maybe because of the drug. There was a voice, a man I did not recognize stood before me. Rivenese, though he was wearing Oni dress. He assembled seemed to be the talking to me, but the poison was already taking effect. Skedon crept in, and I fell asleep. Then there were the many voices, but I understood none of them. Like hundreds of people whispering, I couldn't wake up. No matter, the dream did end, and now to be here with Kti. It's been so many years, I didn't realize how much I missed her, like a piece of me that I'd forgotten, I'd lost. She's beautiful, and so full of warmth, but the years have also left her with a wound which was not there when we were children. I do wish she were more interested. It seems like I'm asking all the questions. It's awkward. No one asks me where I've been or what I've been doing. This hurts, but I understand. I understand it. Their beliefs are born out of ignorance and oppression. They are a gentle people, but they've had their nest betrayed, and now they frantically cling to anything that might serve them. But why have they chosen to cling to me? I'm confused. As a child, I always felt out of place here. I never began. They misunderstood me, and I couldn't relate to them. But now I'm overwhelmed by an intense feeling that I owe everything to them. Now this place I thought I would never see. Owe everything to this place or to them in this place. I thought I would never see them again, and yet I'm here. I've been given the second chance, but a second chance is that a second chance? At what? Serving them? Fulfilling their prophecies? Being their savior? How much farther is this? I'm sorry, if you want to read it, you can go ahead. It is a pretty deep, it does get a good bit into the backstory and so on. That is a key I'm going to want to remember. I'm not sure if this is going to be a randomly generated one, but this is going to be 1, 5, 3, 1, 2. Okay. That's the key to the telescope over the starry expanse. And this is basically her diary of writing this age that we are currently in. Let's go to the white page. Excuse me. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to need to take this into a 4th episode, because I really need to hit the sack. I'm already almost an hour late for hitting the sack. I was hoping to make this a 2-episode thing. I write quickly from my prison. Mila, wife, return your book which the moiety intercepted upon your arrival. After questioning her, I have concluded that it was written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Gen will desire to use it, although he may have suspicions. If you can find my prison, you will still need the combination to release me. Gen keeps it in his office. Then I assume we're to sign to Atris. I think I know how it might be done, but don't signal him before I'm released. Catherine. Okay. After reading that, this should start the next story sequence.
Sirapo. Ibuko mo buko wisipo. Avene. Tapo mo revene beno.
This is the exit out.
Now, Katerina. Wisifa polo yai sepe yai.
This will take us back. Unfortunately, we don't get to explore that town. I think you can go back into it, but I don't think you get to interact with anyone else, if you do. So with that, I am known by someone. This is Jeremiah. This has been a playthrough of Myst 2 Riven, or Riven, a sequel to Myst. If you like this game, or if you like this game, or if you like games like it, consider backing the Cyan Worlds Kickstarter for the Myst 25th Anniversary Collection. At $50, you get digital downloads for all of the games in the Myst series, all 7 of them, made compatible for Windows 10. I'm currently playing this game on Windows XP. It crashed on me when I tried playing it in Windows 10, so yeah. Okay, what else? For $100, you get the digital downloads and DVD copies. For $170 plus shipping, you get even the $100, you get a box that looks like a linking book. For $170, you get the digital copies, DVDs copies, and the linking book with an LCD screen that you can watch the various flybys for the link that are represented in the linking books. $250, you get a copy of, you get all of the above and a replica of Gen's pen and beetle inkwell. Just today, they also added to the $150 tier that you will also get digital copies of the books for the Myst series, like the novels for the Myst series. Well, I'm known by someone. This is Jeremiah. Thank you for